Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're diving into something pretty mind-blowing, an app that's like having Sherlock Holmes and Freud rolled into one, analyzing your every move.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's called the Mood and Room Interpretation app, and it uses AI to get insights into emotions.
So wait, it's not just reading faces like those emotion recognition things we see everywhere?
Nope, it goes way deeper. It
Yeah.
analyzes facial expressions,
Yeah.
but also body language and even like the objects and how things are arranged in a space.
Hold on, so it's like scanning the room for emotional clues, like a detective or something.
Exactly. It's looking for those subtle things we might miss consciously. Micro expressions, fleeting movements that betray your real feelings, even if you're trying to hide them.
Okay, that's a little creepy, but also super cool. Like, imagine knowing if someone's actually interested in what you're saying or if they're just being polite.
Right. And then there's the environmental analysis. That's where the Freudian aspect comes in. You know how Freud was all about symbolism? Well, the app interprets how objects are placed almost like they're telling a story about your emotional state.
So, like, if my desk is a mess, the app's going to think I'm a total wreck.
Haha. Not necessarily. It's about patterns and inferences. More like if you have a photo of loved ones front and center, maybe it suggests feelings of warmth and connection.
Interesting. But why is all this info even useful? What are we supposed to do with it?
$1 million question. It's all about communication.
Yeah.
Imagine you're in a negotiation and the app tells you the other person is anxious. You could adjust your approach, be more reassuring, build trust.
Oh, I get it. It's like leveling up your communication skills using these hidden emotional cues.
Precisely. You become a more empathetic communicator, which honestly helps in every aspect of life, work, relationships, even just casual conversations.
That makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
So how does the app work? Does it like give you a report or something?
Nope. It gives real-time feedback. That's what's so cool about it. It's constantly analyzing, giving you insights and suggestions as you interact with people.
Wow. It's like having a personal coach whispering in your ear during a conversation.
Uh-huh. Exactly. Think about a manager practicing a tough conversation with an employee. The app can give instant feedback on their tone, how it's being received, helping avoid misunderstandings.
Okay, that's seriously impressive.
Yeah.
So who's the mastermind behind this awesome tech?
It's a company called EON Reality. They're known for their work in virtual and augmented reality, especially for learning. They're taking that expertise and applying it to this whole new realm of emotional intelligence.
So they're not just about fancy gadgets, they're actually trying to improve how we connect with each other.
And their chairman, Dan Lajerskar, is really passionate about this. He sees the app as a way to make emotional intelligence more accessible to help people understand each other better.
I love that. So it's not just about the tech itself, it's about the positive impact it can have.
Yeah.
But I bet our listeners are wondering, how is this thing actually being used in the real world?
Yeah, that's the next step in our deep dive. Because this app is already making waves in a bunch of different fields, like therapy, corporate training, even education. We'll get into those next time. So yeah, let's get into some real-world examples. Because, it's one thing to talk about the potential, but seeing it in action is a whole other level.
Totally. I'm super curious to hear how people are actually using this app. Where is it having the biggest impact so far?
Well, one area where it's really taking off is therapy. Therapists are using it to get deeper insights into their patients, picking up on subtle shifts in mood or body language that they might miss otherwise.
Oh, wow. So it's like augmenting their own expertise, giving them extra layer of understanding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's not replacing the therapist, but it's like a second set of eyes, highly perceptive ones, helping them tailor their approach in real time, provide even more personalized care.
That's amazing. I bet it's incredibly helpful in that kind of sensitive setting. Are there any other fields where that real-time feedback is proving useful?
Absolutely. We talked about corporate training before. Remember the manager having a tough conversation? Well, the app can analyze everything. The manager's tone, their facial expressions, even the overall vibe of the room.
So it takes away some of the guesswork in those tricky situations. You're not left wondering if you came across too harsh or if your message got through the right way.
Exactly. It makes communication more conscious, more effective. And it's not just for managers. Anyone who wants to improve their people skills can benefit from that real-time coaching.
Right. It's like having a personal communication guru right there in your pocket. Now, you mentioned education earlier, too. How are students using this tech?
Oh, there are tons of possibilities. Think about job interviews. The app can help students practice their answers, get feedback on their body language, so they project confidence, make a killer first impression.
It's like a secret weapon for nailing those interviews.
Hmm.
And what about presentations or class discussions? Can it help with that, too?
For sure. Imagine a student giving a presentation the app can actually track the audience's engagement. letting the student know if they need to adjust their delivery to keep people interested.
Wow, that's next level stuff. So
Yo.
this tech could be a game changer for students, giving them the tools to become amazing communicators.
Mhm.
But stepping back for a second, what are the bigger implications here? I mean, if we have AI helping us understand emotions, what does that mean for human connection in general?
That's the big question, isn't it? It's kind of mind-blowing to think about. I mean, on one hand, we could be headed towards a world with way more empathy and understanding. But on the other
There's
hand,
that potential for misuse,
yeah,
right? Like, could this tech be used to manipulate people's emotions?
exactly. Those are some serious ethical questions we need to consider as this technology keeps developing. It's like any powerful tool, it can be used for good or for bad.
Yeah, it all comes down to how we choose to use it. But for now, let's focus on the positive. What's EON Reality's vision for this technology?
They really see it as bridging the gap between AI and human development. Their goal is to make emotional intelligence more accessible, to empower people to build stronger relationships, connect on a deeper level.
That's a pretty inspiring vision.
Yeah,
It's not just about building cool tech, it's about using that tech to make the world a better place.
exactly. They believe that by boosting emotional intelligence, we can create a more empathetic and understanding society. And honestly, who wouldn't want that?
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I'm curious, what are your final thoughts on all of this? What should our listeners be pondering as they consider the impact of this technology?
It's a lot to think about, Like, this tech is literally trying to decode human emotions. It's kind of a sci-fi concept, but it's real.
Yeah, it is. I mean, think about it. We're used to AI doing things like playing chess or driving cars, but understanding emotions, that's a whole other level of complexity. And that leads me to a question that's been bugging me. If we rely on this app to interpret emotions for us, are we going to lose our own ability to read people? Like that whole thing about using GPS too much and your sense of direction gets worse.
I see what you mean. It's a valid concern. For sure, we don't want to outsource our emotional intelligence completely. But here's the thing. I think it could actually work the other way around.
Really? How so?
I think of the app as a training tool. Right now, it's highlighting those subtle cues that we might miss. But by pointing them out, it's making us more aware of them.
Oh, I get it. So it's like practicing with a coach until eventually we can spot those signals ourselves.
Exactly. It's like learning a new language. At first, you need a dictionary, but eventually start thinking in that language naturally. Same with emotional intelligence. The app can help us develop that fluency.
So it's not about replacing our intuition. It's about using tech to sharpen it.
And at the end of the day, isn't that what technology should do? Empower us to be better versions of ourselves?
Well said. All right, deep divers. So we've gone pretty deep on this one. We've explored this crazy AI that can read emotions, understand environments, and potentially change how we communicate.
It's been quite a journey. And honestly, it raises a lot of questions, about ethics, about the future of human connection. We're just scratching the surface here.
Exactly.
Right.
This tech is evolving fast, and we need to stay informed, have those tough conversations, make sure we're using it for good.
So keep thinking, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep exploring new ways to connect with each other.
Couldn't agree more. That's all for this deep dive, folks. Until next time, stay curious.